was not a Gator fan growing up. I was not. I didn't really like college teams as far as being a favorite. I enjoy watching football and enjoy watching, whoever was playing. I even would watch Alabama because of their, at the time their defense was one of the best in the nation, and you always hear about their defense. But I didn't grow up a college fan. I was more of a pro fan. I always looked up to the 49ers and the guys that were on their team at the time. And so I was a 49er fan and not so much a college fan. If something went wrong or somebody's playing a joke, you usually turn to Sean, because he's a kid. He will be a kid all his life. He's like Peter Pan, man. He's always laughing. He's so optimistic about everything, but he's that prankster or someone who's always pulling some type of some joke. But my roommate Sean Bohannon and Jason McCadley, because I was around those guys so much, they were pranksters too. I mean, they would order a pizza, man, and not even tell you. And so I mean, stuff like that. I mean, you just find out that those guys, they mean so much to you once they're not around you as much. But I would have to say Sean Alexander is probably the most um, one of the guys who just always would come up with something, no matter what the situation is, and no matter how mad somebody could get, Sean could make everyone pretty much laugh or move on to something else. The week leading up to the Florida game was one of the most exciting weeks of my life. Being from Florida, growing up 30 minutes from the stadium, and knowing a lot of the guys that was on the team, and just being able to play in the swamp is, growing up only 30 minutes, like I said, is you dream of going over there because you hear so much about it. And during the week, I would call some of my friends from the school and from UF, and they would call me, and we'd joke back and forth, or what the week's gonna be like. And I was really wanting to win this game because of the year before, how we lost the game, and right at the end with me throwing an INT, and just wanted to redeem myself and really, really get back in it and show that we could have won that game if I would have been a little older. So now I'm older, and I'm ready for this game. Well, what we do is, we can't, we're gonna get the paper because I'm trying to find, anything that, any article that was put in about myself or my friends. I'm trying to, get those articles. And yes, we realize we're underdogs. They was ranked number 3 in the nation. Of course, we're underdogs, and plus we're going to the swamp. So, we really don't pay attention to. We can't pay attention to the papers and the fact that you're down, but you want to be that underdog sometimes, and you want to be able to surprise people, and that's what we were able to do. Just by playing. If we would have lost that game, just by playing them the way we did, we would have gained a lot of respect. And by beating them the way we did, and with the last second field goal, the field goal in overtime, and it nearly looking like it was missed too, but. You can't look at stuff like that because you either psychs you out as far as they're that much better than we are, or in their case they may have thought they were a lot better than we were, and that wasn't the case. So we try not to look at that too much because it can throw the game out. The coaches don't want you to really pay attention to it either because if it gets to the point where it's psyching his team out, he can stop all press sometimes from us getting the access to paper or whatever.
Do you have any kind of pregame ritual or routine? Do you have to wear a certain thing a certain way? Do you have certain steps you had to go through, or are you one of those you just?
I'm more the type that I'm to myself, but I'm trying to be as loose as possible. Trying not to be too uptight, and I'm always reading my Bible before the game. Bring out my Bible, read a verse. I do. It's one thing that I do have happen is I have a guy call me who's a bishop from Atlanta. His name is Pearl, and Gary Pierce is what his real name is. We call him Pearl. But anyway, he calls me and we pray on the phone before every game. And no matter where we are, he calls me and makes sure he gets my room. And he'll tell everyone he's my uncle, which now he's considered my uncle. But he calls me before every game and we pray on the phone, and it's like we're having a service in there. But so that's my ritual if I have one. But that's something I did before every game since '98.
Were you nervous before the game? Did something build it up?
No, you know what? I never really gotten too nervous, but it's just anxious. I'm ready to get out there, ready to get going, but before the Florida game, I'm actually ready to, not to over, exert myself. I just wanted to go out there, get ready to play, and not make any mistakes, but win this game and just have fun. If I'm having fun and the team is having fun, I think we'll win.
Who was calling the plays in the press box or on the sidelines? Who calls?
It was coming from up top, from Coach Stubbs, which he was a mastermind. I believe he and Spurrier, they kind of went toe to toe with the offense, man, because it was Spurrier's offense against Coach Stubbs' offense, and we went at it. And Spurrier's known for his offense, and Coach Stubbs was really not that known for his. But that day we stepped it up, and our guys, put it together, and we got it done. The offensive line that day, it was unbelievable. I couldn't believe the time that I had that day, and that's when we really, I think we led the SEC at one point in time of possession, and I probably led the team or led the SEC, and sitting back there drinking coffee that day or something like that. But anyway, they blocked their butts off. It was tough because Florida had been ranked or been rated so high as far as their defense. Alex Brown had all these sacks against T. Martin a couple of weeks before, and it was sort of not to stay on the same snap count and really pressure him or line him up or have him line up with Chris, which we knew he couldn't beat Chris, and Chris really held his own that day. And the other guys, you had Will Cuthbert, Paul Hogan, Griff Redmill, and Dante Ellington, which was a true freshman at the time, and the leader Chris Samuels. I couldn't ask for anything more, and also Terry Jones Jr., who was a sophomore that year, and we really went out there and they blocked well, and we really got it done.
But you came right back after that drive, and it seemed like you didn't let a mistake bother you.
I didn't. At one point, I 1 or 2 plays, I started acting like a freshman again, but I was able to keep my composure. I had Chris Samuels in my ear, really, behind me, and Sean as well, and a few other guys just behind me and say, look, we believe in you. Let's get it done. Don't worry about it. Let's move on to the next play. And came up to a 3rd and 18, and we were able to pick this up. I mean, we were having everybody run, straight down the field, and Antonio Carter, being a true freshman, broke his route off right around 20 yards, and he was able to get the first down. I was sort of surprised for a freshman to do that, and once I seen him and he broke it off, I threw him the ball, and soon after that, Coach Stubbs has always had in his mind that as soon as he has a big play, he's coming back with another one. It's basically for the home run, and that's when we hit Sean Alexander with the wheel route coming out of the backfield, and Gerard Warren was, he was coming, he was breathing down my neck, and I remember him grabbing me a little bit on my collar and really pulling away from him, and then throwing the ball to Sean, and he was able to beat a rival guy who actually I played against in high school, named Keith Kelsey. He was able to beat him a few times that day in that game. He was like 5 yards behind Sean, so I was able to put it up and let Sean, run under it and not overthrow him this time. Going into overtime, we were pretty much relaxed. I mean, we knew we got him into overtime because we barely made it out of the regulation time with the guy fumbling the ball, and then we were able to drive down and score. So going into overtime, we felt like we got them now. They have a chance of losing this game. And once they went down and scored the way they did, it was sort of like, I don't know now. They went down and scored so quickly, and we may have to go back and forth. And their defense has stepped it up towards the end of the game a little bit. But we were able to, stay relaxed. And then when Sean breaks the run and goes in, we feel like we have the game won because of the extra point that they had missed. So when Chris kicks the ball, and I remember Sean, waving his towel, waving his hand, waving at the crowd before Chris kicks the first ball, and when he misses, Sean kind of cowers down like, oh my God, I've been up here celebrating, and this guy just missed a extra point. So it was sort of mixed emotions, coming up to it, we felt relaxed, but in the middle of it, got kind of worried, and we got the second chance to kick the field goal. It was no doubt that he was going to make the second one. But then the second one looked like he missed it, so we were waiting on the ref to kind of throw his hands up. As soon as he did, we kind of, everyone went crazy after that. So.
Who'd you look for? Who was the first person you wanted to talk to, maybe on the field or off the field? Who was?
It's actually Steve Spurrier.